Making it to the NHL is the ultimate dream for many young hockey players across the world who dedicate their lives to getting drafted and earning a spot in the league. However, once they make it, the pressure never lets up. It's constant from the very first game through to the end of the season. While some players manage to sustain steady success over their careers, others burst onto the scene or pop off with one good season, only to see it all melt away shortly after. In today's video, we're taking a trip down memory lane to revisit some of the NHL's biggest one-season wonders in recent memory. Players who stole the spotlight for a brief second and now have been completely forgotten about. Let's dive in. For a brief moment, it looked like Andrew Hammond might be the hero the Ottawa Senators desperately needed. But his meteoric rise was short-lived, and he quickly faded from the spotlight. Hammond, who entered the NHL undrafted in 2013, signed a 2-year contract with Ottawa. During the 2014-15 season, the team faced a goaltending crisis when both Ville Leino and Craig Anderson were sidelined with injuries. In a pinch, the Senators called on Hammond, and he exceeded all expectations. He posted an incredible 21-2 record with a 179 goals against average and a .941 save percentage, helping carry Ottawa into the playoffs and earning the nickname the Hamburglar. That magical stretch would remain the peak of Hammond's NHL journey. Though he played respectably the following season in a backup role, he never managed to recreate the same brilliance. He spent much of the rest of his career in the AHL before ultimately retiring in 2022. Despite the brief nature of his success, Hammond's unforgettable run in 2015 remains one of the most remarkable goaltending stories in recent NHL history. Another undrafted player who showed early promise but ultimately fell short in Ottawa, Conacher, began his NHL journey with the Tampa Bay Lightning. He made his debut during the lockout-shortened 2012-13 season and quickly turned heads by tallying 24 points in just 35 games. Seen as a rising star, Conacher was dealt to the Senators at the trade deadline in exchange for goaltender Ben Bishop, a move Tampa made to strengthen their goaltending, while Ottawa hoped they were acquiring a top offensive talent. Conacher added 5 more points in 12 games with the Senators, but his momentum faded fast. In the 2013-14 season, he managed only 4 goals and 16 assists over 60 games. Meanwhile, Ben Bishop thrived in Tampa, quickly establishing himself as a Vezina Trophy contender, making the trade sting even more for Ottawa. The Senators eventually gave up on Conacher, placing him on waivers. He was claimed by the Buffalo Sabres, but wasn't re-signed after the season. He had a brief stint with the Islanders before being waived again after just 15 games. Although Conacher later returned to the Lightning organization and had a few productive stretches in the AHL, he rarely cracked the NHL lineup and never again topped 12 points in a season. His early spark faded quickly, and he never reached the level many had once hoped for. David Clarkson showed steady improvement early in his career with the New Jersey Devils, consistently hitting double-digit goals from 2008 to 2011. Then, during his age 27 season in 2011-12, he broke out with a huge jump, scoring 30 goals and 46 points, nearly doubling his previous best output. However, after that standout season, Clarkson's production sharply declined. Over the rest of his career, he scored just 27 goals total, with injuries cutting his playing time short. His case is often seen as a cautionary tale. Following his breakout, he still managed 15 goals during the shortened 2012-13 season, which would project to about 26 goals over a full year, and then signed a lucrative 7-year, $5.25 million per year contract with the Toronto Maple Leafs. Unfortunately, things quickly fell apart after that. Clarkson played a more physical style, but his story is a clear example of a player who had one big productive season relatively late and then never quite lived up to those expectations again. Jimmy Carson sits atop this list for one infamous reason that most hockey fans know well. He was the key piece the Edmonton Oilers received in the blockbuster trade that sent Wayne Gretzky to the Los Angeles Kings. That alone set sky-high expectations. To be fair, Carson was producing at an elite level before the trade. During his time with the Kings, he put up 79 points in one season, then followed it with a career-best 55 goals and 107 points. Numbers impressive enough to make him the centerpiece of the most talked-about trade in NHL history. But once in Edmonton, Carson never met those lofty expectations. He had a solid first year, topping 100 points again, but his production soon dropped off. He only managed to surpass the 30-goal mark once more for the remainder of his career. For Oilers fans, it was a tough pill to swallow, trading away the greatest player in hockey history for someone who couldn't sustain superstar status. Johnathan Cheechoo is a classic case of how playing alongside an elite playmaker can elevate a player's game to unexpected heights. After Joe Thornton was traded to San Jose in 2005, he and Cheechoo quickly developed a potent connection. That year, Thornton won the Hart Trophy as league MVP, and Cheechoo led the NHL with 56 goals and 93 points and took home the Rocket Trophy. The following year saw a noticeable dip, with Cheechoo scoring 37 goals and totaling 69 points. Still respectable numbers, though a clear step back. Few, however, could have predicted just how steep the decline would become. Cheechoo's production continued to slide in the seasons that followed. He never managed more than 24 goals or 39 points again. In 2009, he was traded to the Ottawa Senators as part of the deal that brought Danny Heatley to San Jose. His time in Ottawa was forgettable, as he managed just 5 goals in 61 games before being sent down to the AHL for the 2010-11 season. His fall from stardom was as sudden as his rise. Andrew Raycroft burst onto the NHL scene with a stellar rookie campaign for the Boston Bruins in 2003-04, earning the Calder Trophy as the league's top rookie. That season, he notched 29 wins, maintained an impressive 2.06 goals against average, and posted a .926 save percentage. Numbers that had Boston fans convinced they'd found their goaltender for the future. But that breakout year would ultimately be the peak of his career. Following the NHL lockout, Raycroft was named Boston's starter for the 2005-06 season, but struggled mightily. He recorded just 8 wins in 30 games, with a .281 GAA and a disappointing .870 save percentage. His performance dropped so sharply that he was demoted to third-string goalie by season's end. Over the rest of his career, Raycroft would only surpass a .900 save percentage in 3 more seasons, never reclaiming the form that made his rookie season so memorable. After entering the NHL relatively late as an undrafted free agent, Ville Leino struggled to make an impact during 2 underwhelming seasons with Detroit. However, his career took a dramatic turn after a trade to Philadelphia, where he played a crucial role in the Flyers' 2010 playoff run, tallying 21 points, 7 goals and 14 assists in just 19 games. Leino built on that momentum in the 2010-11 season. His age 27 campaign posted a career-best 53 points, 19 goals and 34 assists. This breakout earned him a lucrative 6-year, $27 million contract with the Buffalo Sabres, paying him $4.5 million annually. Unfortunately, the success didn't follow him to Buffalo. Over 3 disappointing seasons, Leino managed just 10 goals and 46 points total before the Sabres bought out his contract. After that, he never returned to the NHL. Wayne Babych isn't remembered for a consistently high-scoring NHL career, but rather for one explosive season that stood out in an otherwise average tenure. Drafted 3rd overall by the St. Louis Blues in 1978, Babych got off to a promising start, scoring 27 and 26 goals in his first 2 seasons. Solid numbers for a young forward, but no one could have predicted what he'd do in his 3rd year. During the 1980-81 season, Babych erupted for 54 goals and 96 points, leading the NHL in even-strength goals with 40. It was a superstar caliber performance that put him among the league's elite, at least temporarily. However, his playoff production that year told a different story, as he managed just 2 goals in 11 games. That postseason dip foreshadowed what was to come. Babych never came close to replicating that standout season, surpassing the 20-goal mark only once more before his career gradually tapered off. His 1980-81 campaign remains an outlier, a sudden peak in an otherwise modest NHL journey. Jori Lehtera was selected by the St. Louis Blues in the 2008 NHL draft, but didn't make his league debut until the 2014-15 season, spending the intervening years playing in the KHL. When he finally joined the Blues on a 2-year, $5.5 million deal, he quickly made a strong impression. In his rookie campaign, Lehtera put up 14 goals and 30 assists for a solid 44-point season across 75 games, offering the kind of secondary scoring the team had been looking for. However, his production soon declined. In his 2nd season, he registered 34 points, despite playing 4 more games. And the following year, his numbers dropped again, this time by 12 more points. Eventually, St. Louis dealt him to the Philadelphia Flyers as part of a trade package for Braden Schenn, a move that worked out well for the Blues, as Schenn would play a key role in their 2019 Stanley Cup win. Lehtera, on the other hand, struggled in Philadelphia, failing to reach double digits in points over 2 seasons. After that, he returned to Europe to continue his career, never quite fulfilling the promise he showed during his standout rookie season. The Minnesota North Stars believed they had struck gold when Scott Bjudstad exploded offensively in the 1985-86 season. After a quiet rookie year where he managed just 15 points on 11 goals and 4 assists, Bjudstad suddenly broke out with 43 goals and 33 assists for a total of 76 points. A dramatic and promising leap that gave the team high hopes for his future. Unfortunately, that season proved to be an outlier. Bjudstad never again reached the 20-goal mark and would only hit double digits in goals once more for the rest of his career. Despite the early excitement, he was unable to replicate his breakout performance, and Minnesota had to let go of the idea that he would become a long-term offensive force. Steve Penney became an unexpected playoff hero in 1984 when, in a bold move, Montreal's coach benched the team's regular goalies and handed the net to Penney. The decision paid off. Penney stunned everyone by winning 9 games and earning 3 shutouts, helping the Canadiens reach the conference finals. Their run ended with a 6-game loss to the New York Islanders, but Penney's postseason performance was the talk of the hockey world. Unfortunately, he couldn't maintain that level of play. The following season, an injury sidelined him, and his starting spot was taken over by a rookie named Patrick Waugh. Waugh quickly proved to be a generational talent, and Penney never regained his role. Despite his brief moment of glory, he was soon traded and gradually faded from the spotlight, remembered mainly for that one remarkable playoff run. At one time, Normand Norm Richard was considered a highly promising NHL prospect. His standout junior career had scouts and teams believing he could develop into a star at the professional level. However, for much of his time in the league, Richard struggled to live up to the hype. He never surpassed the 50-point mark and was known more for off-ice issues than on-ice consistency, frequently changing teams. Then came the 1980-81 season, when everything seemed to click. Richard exploded for 52 goals and 51 assists, finishing with 103 points and reigniting hopes that he was finally reaching his potential. But the resurgence was brief. The following season, his production dropped off significantly, and he never came close to repeating that performance. Richard retired just 2 years later, in 1983, with his one brilliant season standing as a stark contrast to the rest of his underwhelming career. And there you have it, a selection of the biggest one-season wonders in NHL history. So who would you rank as being the biggest one-season wonder ever? And did we leave anyone off this list? Let us know in the comments. And as always, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell for more videos.